teach you about brain and heart.
Spirit guides and guardian angels, who are they and how do I contact them? That and much more on today's In5D Live. Namaste, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across the planet, around the world. My name is Gregg Prescott from In5D.com. And today we're going to be talking about spirit guides and guardian angels and everything and anything about that. And I'll be opening up the chat room here in Zoom at the end. So if you have any questions or comments, you'll be able to join in at that point. Big news is I'm no longer banned on Facebook. That's good news, I guess. When I got banned yesterday, God, that was freaking nuts. All I did was post an article to my page and then 5 of my groups / pages. And because I did it quick, because I copied and pasted, you know, what I had to put in there, because I did it quick, they banned me for it. And then they made me prove who I was by sending them a picture of myself, where it would have been a lot quicker and easier had they just did that 2-factor authentication thing that they have, you know, send me a text to my cell phone and I can corroborate I am who I say I am. But, you know, this has happened to me in the past too, where I'll post to a bunch of groups. You know, I've got like 20 some odd groups I'll post to. And if you go over that limit, they'll put you in Facebook jail, but they won't take you off Facebook. What they'll do is they'll say, well, you can't post for anything for like 3 hours or something like that, or 6 hours or something. So you go in like a temporary Facebook jail, which, you know, most of us have been there for one reason or another, but they didn't do that this time. This time they took me completely off of Facebook. And I thought, man, this is different. They're probably not going to let me come back on, but here I am. But I am on with a caveat. I'm restricted. I'm unable to post to anything other than my groups, which is all I did was to begin with. when I got kicked off of Facebook, that's all I posted to. I posted to obviously my personal Facebook page and Body, Mind, Soul, Spirit, my page. Gregg Prescott fan page, my page, obviously. In5D, my page. Synthesia, my page. And Woo Woo Media, my page. So all 5 were my pages, yet apparently I can't post that quickly on my pages or else I get kicked off of Facebook. So it was just absolute bullshit. So I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone that's joining us in YouTube land right now. And I'm going to post you guys a link if you want to join us on Zoom. Hello to Maria, Mandy, Tommy, Imelda, Michael, Paula, Martha, Boogie Dane, Violet, Lotus, Susan, Shy One, Rich, Natasha, and everyone else that's joining us there, as well as to everyone that's joining us here on Zoom. Gary, Julia, Kika, it's a new one here, Maria, Sarah, Catherine, thank you for joining us. As I mentioned, I will be opening up Zoom after I get through this material, and I'm really curious about everyone's opinions on spirit guides and guardian angels. What I'm going to do though, real quick, is I want to show you guys something, and it all ties in together. So I posted this picture on Super Bowl Sunday. Many of you guys know that. Yeah, you know, I totally get it with sports. You know, all sports are basically, it's divide and conquer. My tribe against your tribe, right? The Giants, the New York Giants against the Tennessee Titans, the Elohim against the Anunnaki, basically, right? Divide and conquer, that's all it is. And I get it. But After I awokened, I used to be, well, before I awokened, I used to be the biggest sports fanatic, and I have a selective um, photographic memory for statistics. And I could look at the sports page and memorize all the statistics like that. I don't know how or why. It's just what I do. But after I awoken, I stopped following all these sports. I used to watch the New York Knicks, Chicago White Sox, big fan of them. I did see them win their World Series back in 2005. So I saw that in my lifetime. And finally, once again, it's been 50 years, but finally saw the Chiefs win again. But I've been a big Kansas City Chief fan, and that's the only sport that I continue to follow is the NFL football, American football. So on Super Bowl Sunday, my daughter sent me a picture of her. I got her this shirt for Christmas. It's a Pat Mahomes jersey, and I'm wearing the Travis Kelce jersey. Mahomes ended up being the MVP for the Super Bowl this weekend as the Chiefs went on to beat the 49ers. And people are like, well, you're probably, a fair weather fan. Nobody actually said that, but just to show you that we're not, Brittany or me, here's a picture of us back in 2004 at a game in Tampa where Brittany's wearing a Priest Holmes jersey and I'm wearing a Dante Hall. He was known as the X Factor, a Dante Hall away jersey. And that was in 2004. Here's Brittany wearing a Joe Montana jersey. He actually played for the Kansas City Chiefs for a couple of years. And I'm wearing a Priest Holmes jersey in this picture. So I had really short hair back then too. But once again, this all ties into everything. You're thinking, oh, well, so what? What's your point? We all hate sports. Well, most of you don't really give a rat's butt about sports, but it all ties in. And here's why. So here's what Patrick Mahomes, the MVP of the Super Bowl, posted 7 years ago when he was in high school in 2013. I bet it feels amazing to be the quarterback who says, I'm going to Disney World after winning a Super Bowl. And here's where it ties in. Thoughts become manifestations. He said that in high school, 2013. Pretty crazy, huh? So, and also here's another cool thing too. The win for Coach Andy Reid was his 222nd win, 222. So very, spiritual number. If any of you have been seeing 222 coming up lately, it's a very powerful number. I want to remind you too, because of what happened on Facebook, any one of us can go down at any given time. Follow me on Twitter as well. I'm still up there. I haven't been using Twitter as much as Facebook since the beginning, but lately I've been much more involved on Twitter for, we'll say, the past year. So obviously I don't have that many followers on Twitter because I wasn't active, since 2009. Like I said, I've only been using it for like a year. But I do post when I'm going to be having a live Zoom chat on Twitter. So you can join me there and get the updates, or you can join me on Patreon. Everybody that's at like 111 gets listed on the Patreon wall of eternal gratitude. Thank you for your donations, as well as you'll be notified of the live Zoom chats. And you can also watch them here and comment on them here on Patreon. At the 555 level, you also get listed on the Patreon wall of eternal gratitude. You also get alerted for the live Zoom chats. You get ad-free articles. And tomorrow we're actually going to be having that'll be our first Wednesday of every month. We have an Insiders Club private chat on Patreon, and it's via Zoom, and it's just like what we're doing right now, except it's not going to be broadcasted on anywhere. It's just a private room that I create on Zoom, and it's just for In5D Patreon members of 555 or more. And then at the 11/11 one, you get the afterthoughts videos along with the exclusive mid-month energy report video as well. So, and then there's other levels as well, but any level is extremely appreciated. So hopefully I'll see a bunch of you there at tomorrow night on the Insiders Club private chat. My topic is going to be the untouchables, and many of us know who they are. I'm not going to specifically say who they are, but pretty much the people in our genre who you can't get close to, who you can't have interaction with, like what we're doing right here, or people that charge exorbitant amounts of money just to hear their privileged information. Yeah, that's not us. You get this with me, and we're going to do it a lot and very often. Okay, so what else? Where else are we going? Okay, I just want to mention too, we had Andy Monks on the other day, and it was an amazing show. And I see it hasn't gotten a lot of views yet, but I highly recommend that you check this out, because those of us that watched that show were so blown away by what he had to say that many of us are becoming fruitarians, because it can cure almost anything. And that's what he said, literally, with that word cure. But he's, everything from baldness to any other kind of disease, parasite, fungus, whatever. But you got to be strict with it. So today was my first day of being fruitarian, and I'll be doing it for a week straight, and I'll be bringing Andy back on Monday at 12 o'clock right here on the In5D YouTube channel, as well as on Zoom for a follow-up. And what he's doing this time, we're going to be talking more about being a fruitarian, but he's taken these pictures of my eyes, and he does iridology, or I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's the study of the pupil and iris and all that stuff. And every part of that eye, of your eye, has a specific meaning and organ and everything else that's associated with it. So highly recommend, check out, when you get the time, check out the video that we just did the other day, Andy Monks. And then join us again on Monday if you can, because it's going to be at noon on Monday, 12 o'clock Eastern on Monday. Check that out. It's going to be very enlightening and informative. He even talks about, through diet, how you can achieve the light body status, how you are going to be more able to have out of body experiences, astral travel, how it cleans your pineal gland. So many wonderful benefits of being a fruitarian. So yesterday, my mother called me. What great timing this is. My parents only live like an hour away down in Fort Myers. So I ended up getting like 2 bags full of Valencia oranges at my parents' house. My mom's like, they're falling off the tree. We have too many of them. Do you want them? I'm like, heck yeah. So I went down there today and visited my parents and got a bunch of oranges. And then we played Wii bowling. That was fun. I won the first 2 games, and my mom kicked my dad's in my butt on the 3rd game. My mom's really good at Wii bowling, and it's good for them because my dad's 90 and my mom's 83. It gets them up and moving, and and they still go square dancing every Friday, and they'll ballroom dance on Saturdays. It's amazing how active they are. I love my mommy and daddy. Okay. So make sure that you follow me on Twitter. Gregg Prescott 1 is my Twitter. And if you can't follow me there, make sure you can follow me on Patreon, In5D Patreon. Okay. Sorry, I've just got so much stuff I want to cover. The next thing I want to cover real quick bear with me, is this. amazing, amazing high energy t-shirts. Matter of fact, Andy just bought 4 of them yesterday. Thank you, Andy. I sent them out today. Gary Hall bought one the other day, one of the people that are In5D family that comes here as well. And I sent his out as well. So thank you for the purchase. You should get yours probably today or tomorrow because you're not that far from me. And as soon as people order them, I get them out ASAP because I'm just as excited for you to get them as you are when you order them. So, and I'll be I'll be making like, my goal is to make like 30 of them this week, 30 new ones. So, you know, if you have any ideas for colors that you'd like to see that we don't have, let me know. I'll make them. But yeah, I use this Siesta Key sand in the dye. So, and then I put positive intentions. I use Ho'oponopono in on the shirts, and they're just loaded with energy. People that wear them to sleep have amazing dreams, and you can check out the testimonials right here as well. So check out that at in5d.net. And one last thing before we get going, I put a link in the chat room. I'm going to throw another one in there right now. But for the Zoom, the first time you get on Zoom, a pop-up's going to come up, and you just have to run the software, whatever that is. You know, just click yes and click through, and you'll get on to Zoom, and you'll never have to do that again. So people say, well, I don't know how to. Well, just click that link that I just put in there and follow whatever pops up. And just click yes, and you'll be in here with us doing Zoom live. People want to hear you too. Everyone's got amazing stories. We all want to hear you, and we need to hear your voice and get the codes from your voice. And if you have the will to do it, put your face on there too, because we also get codes from how you look as well as how you sound. You know, it's all frequency and vibration. Wow, that was a lot to cover. Okay, so yeah, quick shout out to everyone that's joined us once again in YouTube land. Jeanette, Alex, Natasha, Poetically Mistaken, Scotty Boy, Debbie, got lots of people joining us here. This is awesome. And as I mentioned, I will be opening up the Zoom chat room once we get through this material that I will be covering on spirit guides and guardian angels. So I think we're ready to get moving here. So the first article I'm going to reference to is one by Lisa Renee, and it's called Contacting Your Spirit Guides. As always, after the video, I'll put all the links to the articles in the more info section of this video as well. If you're reading this on the In5D site, it'll be below the video too. So let's just go like this. So in Lisa's article, she's talking about these spirit guide protocols, which is really fascinating. And I just want to get that out before we get into anything else. So there is a set of protocols known to all guides that were developed for use in the Earth Grand Experiment. Because our planet is located in a free will zone, guides are bound by protocols that are designed to honor and protect our free will. Guides may help you work on releasing patterns and blocks. As a result, there are many things they can and cannot do. Guides can give you advice, but they cannot tell you what to do. Now, I'm wondering if they give you advice, sometimes it's going to be a gut feeling. You know, when I first met my guide, I should probably start with this anyway. When I was, oh gosh, you know what's coming. When I was a kid, it's hard to say that without going, when I was a kid, you young whippersnapper. But when I was a kid, in upstate New York, raised in the Catskill Mountains, I had this affinity to palm trees and the ocean. No idea why. As it turned out, I eventually moved to Florida in my 40s and been here ever since. Shortly after I moved to Florida, I had a dream where I met my spirit guide. So in my dream, I see this beautiful Native American looking woman, right? With long black hair, straight black hair, just flowing white gown on. She's like, "Hi, Gregg. My name is Tamara. I'm your spirit guide." Here I am, right? I can ask her anything in the world. What's my purpose here? Yeah, anything I wanted to do. But what do? I repeat her name over and over and over again. Tamara, 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 Tamara. And I said it so many times in a row that I woke myself up from the dream. Now, Tamara probably thought I was the village idiot. What's wrong with this guy? Why does he keep repeating my name? Why didn't he ask me anything? So here it is, like 3 o'clock in the morning. And every name has a meaning, means something. So I get online, I type in Tamara. As it turns out, Tamara means palm tree. That's why I had that affinity to palm trees as a child in upstate New York. Pay attention to your gut feelings, the things that you have these affinities for. Think about when you were a child. Maybe you go out to the woods and you have an affinity for ferns, or maybe a blue jay or a cardinal or deer, or it could be anything. It could be a plant, animal, insect, a tree. Who'd have thunk that a tree and Tamara? And every time, even when I was a kid, if I looked at a palm tree, it would just make me smile. It just gave me such a warm feeling inside. I just always feel really good when I see palm trees. And it's not like it's, there's so many different trees out there, but palm trees, there's something magical to me about palm trees. So that's why I was so fortunate and lucky. And I put that intention out upon after watching The Secret. I put that intention out to meet my spirit guide, and I did through a dream. But we're going to talk about other ways that you can do this as well. And you also have more than one, chances are. So as going back to Lisa's article, guides can only give you information that you request. So I think that reminds us about the importance of where you place your thoughts and intentions. If you're, like in my example, after watching The Secret, I made that intention to put it out there. I want to meet my spirit guide or guides. She's the only one I've met so far, personally. Maybe I'll meet more, maybe I won't, but if I do or don't, doesn't matter. I already met her, and it answered so many questions for me. Excuse me, I need some water. Guides are allowed to withhold information when they feel it would be in some way hindering your progress. So sometimes you might be, taking the long way home, so to speak, and you're thinking, well, I know there's an easier, quicker way. But sometimes you're going to be missing something in your journey that's important along the way, taking the long way home. So, and that's been such a message that I've been getting constantly. Slow down. Me with my lead foot driving. Today, I don't know if I can get in trouble for this, but let's say, what if it was possible to drive 110 miles an hour? Yeah. I love driving fast. Of course, I'm not admitting to it, but of course, I would only drive the speed limit. Yeah, but yeah, but I keep getting that message to slow down, and so that's what I do. I try to do that. And what I do when I slow down, especially when I'm in my car, I'm looking at the license plates around me and adding up the numbers, or looking for patterns within the numbers. Or I'm looking, there might be a sign, a mile marker. Slow down, take it all in. This is the only time that we're going to be here at this point in time, in the now, right now. Take in as much as you can. And while you're taking that stuff in, you might see signals from your spirit guide. So slow down, look around, absorb, take note, and try to stay in that moment all at the same time. It's not that hard to do. It sounds like a lot, but it's not that hard to do. So, okay, moving on, we have, when asked for a specific outcome to an event, guides can give you the most probable outcome along with other possibilities. They cannot tell you which one will occur, as that means that they would have to predetermine what choices would be made, thus violating your free will. Also, guides cannot give you information on someone else without that person's consent. They also cannot give information that is contrary to your belief systems without permission. This may require that you rescind any vows made about what you're willing to receive or hear. Now, on that last one, I wouldn't want any other information from anyone else unless, hang on, got some background noise here. There we go. I wouldn't want anyone else's information or information about anyone else unless, they were dying, something along that line. And even then, it might be in their greatest and highest good, or they may be willing themselves to cross over, and you have to honor that. That's a tough and sticky situation to be in. But in that situation, it is possible, though, that maybe they do want help. So if you hook up your higher self with their higher self and are able to help them somehow, some way, through your guides, make some kind of agreement or arrangement, that would be a possibility. So contacting your spirit guides. Our spirit guides are entities, physical and non-physical, who have chosen to aid others on the path to spiritual enlightenment as we are about to ascend. Most spirit guides have had incarnations on the physical earth plane as well as other realms. They, like yourself, may exist there multidimensionally at this time, which we're there multidimensionally every time we go to sleep. You could be having a dream where one part of your dream is you're remembering that one part, you're walking your dog, or you're driving a car or something in your dream, but there might be 15 other yous out there in your dreams doing all these other things, including receiving downloads. So spirit guides are often your polar opposite, the other part of your soul, which remains on the other side in a higher frequency as your soul experiences the third dimension. Spirit guides may remain with you for a lifetime, or may come and go depending on your needs and where they are needed. I keep getting that feeling that Tamara's always with me. I don't have any within reach, but like all of my coasters that I have all have palm trees on it. I've got palm trees I've got pictures of palm trees. My daughter, for my birthday, made an oil painting of palm trees for me. As they exist in higher frequency, they are beings of light that may physically appear to you in humanoid form. So you can mind there's something incorrectly, grammatically incorrect on that, but they can come to you in humanoid form. They would generally appear to you as ectoplasmic forms, but some can manifest in a physical form. How cool would that be if you could actually, see and touch, shake the hand, give a big bear hug to a spirit guide? We all have spirit guides. Each guide generally comes in for a specific purpose in your life. Some come in to restore balance. Some are to help you with the spiritual mission that you're on. Some are healers. Some help work with your creative work. Some show you past or parallel lives. Some are deceased relatives or close friends who come to you to guide or for closure. And some may be extraterrestrials who link you with another aspect of your soul experiencing another reality. Some guides stay with you for an entire experience in your present body. Others stay for many years, then leave. You can ask a spirit guide to leave if you so choose. I'm not sure why you'd want to, unless you feel like you've been going down a really, really shitty road. And even though your guide knows there's so many lessons that you're going to be learning here, you might be thinking, well, you suck. I don't want these shitty lessons, but ultimately, you really did. And that's what you do. And there's all these lessons that are amazing. You'll regret not learning these lessons if you don't do it in this incarnation. A lot of times it seems like it sucks, but there's such valuable lessons that you're learning. So get over it. Oftentimes they speak to you in a dream state, like what happened with me with Tamara, or in meditation, in altered states of consciousness, like people have with ayahuasca, through the synchronistic things that occur in your life, perhaps numerical synchronicities, 1111. You might see your birthday come up in time, or we'll say your birthday is July 12th. You might get $7.12 in change, or, a deceased family member, whatever their birthday is, might come to you in, a synchronistic number. They could come to you through art, music, dance, or acting. If they really want to make a point, they will create a synchronicity in your life so that you will sit up and take notice. Synchronicities in general are experiences created by your soul to bring you into a greater awareness of what is occurring in your life. You or your spirit guide may create a synchronicity in a higher realm, then manifest it in 3D. If you meet someone by accident, it's because your soul and theirs has made a decision to meet. There are no accidents. That all happens on a much greater level. You end up making these soul contracts with literally millions and millions of people. Some people you may never physically meet, shake their hand, hug, or whatever. Some people you may just be letting into traffic on a busy day. And that's the only time you'll ever have a contact with this one person. But you just feel like it was the right thing to do and is a great connection. Or you might see somebody at a grocery store and you just might lock eyes with each other, and that's it. That was all you had to do. You got the codes from them, you felt that connection, and you may never see them again. Spirit guides travel interdimensionally. They meet with us at night when we sleep and remove our consciousness from 3D, placing it into faster moving frequencies, faster than the speed of light, which we call a higher frequency. It is here that we work with our spirit guides and plan what we will do in the physical realms when we return to wakefulness. Place our conscious minds back into our physical bodies when we get up and experience the physical world. So here's a tip. At bedtime, ask your guide to escort you to an inner plane healing temple where you are sleeping. Request that you are rejuvenated and revitalized to awaken refreshed in the morning to meet your daily commitments. So I have another article on In5D. It's called 8 Signs Your Spirit Guides Want to Talk. And these are just simple signs that you're going to find throughout the day. You may not have thought about them beforehand, but you may start thinking about them when they do come into your life. So the first sign is words. Has a phrase or a written passage in a book struck you in such an emotional way with no real provocation? Pay attention to that passage, phrase, or even word. It's a message from your guides. Now, that could also happen. This has happened to me a number of times where you might have like a YouTube video on, you're listening to a YouTube video from one of your favorite channels, like, I don't know, In5D. And you might be writing something or texting somebody, and there might be an unusual word like in this sentence, passage. But as I'm saying passage, you're texting that same word, something unusual. And there's that synchronicity that you hear and are doing yourself. There's something within that moment that's creating that synchronicity. There's something that's really important that you need to be paying attention to. Here's another good one. Feathers. Feathers are generally signs from past loved ones, but white feathers are a special way of your guide saying hello and letting you know they are there with you. Let's see. Must have been, trying to think. I was living across the street from the main beach. I think that was like 5 years ago. I remember I opened up the door and there's a white feather right in front on the mat, right in front of the door. Just this little a little white feather right there. And another time, that house had a pool, but it was a fenced-in pool, but there was a little rip at the top of the fence of the screened, rather, it was a screened-in pool, and there was a little rip, and it was just folded over, and there's only like a little triangle area that anything could possibly come through, but yet this feather just floats down and lands in between myself and the woman I used to be with. So that was pretty cool to get that message, and I felt like that was my sister Lola, who had passed away in 2011. So spirit guides can come to you in your dreams. Your dreams are a great tool to talk and connect to the spirit world. If you usually don't remember your dreams and all of a sudden have a very intense dream that you remember, try to write it down. Try to write down all the details as soon as possible. It contains messages for your guides pertinent to your current situation. If you regularly remember your dreams, focus on the ones in which a powerful entity talks to you and you remember what they say, or the dreams that elicit unintentional emotional response. Now, I highly recommend keeping a dream journal. Whether you can remember your dreams consistently or not, even if it's sporadically that you can remember your dreams, write down a dream journal, because sometimes they may not make sense immediately, but they may make sense, complete sense, 1, 2, 3 years down the road. And it's pretty cool to go back and look at some of the dreams. Now, also, when you are working on your dreams, or trying to remember your dreams and writing them down, I find that as you're working on yourself, the more clean the temple becomes, the more you're in balance with everything and have done your work and cleaned yourself and transmuted as much as you can, you'll find that your dreams become more prophetic. Things that haven't happened yet, you'll start seeing into the future. That's what happened with me. It'll happen to you too. This has happened to me as well. Visions and meditation. Guides can and will appear to you during meditation, whether it's through visualization through your third eye or voice speaking to you in your head. Always be sure to practice protection procedures before you meditate. While meditating, try out this spirit guide visualization exercise. I've got a video and an article on In5D. It's called Do This Before You Fall Asleep. And it's such an easy way to open up your third eye. And once you're able to do this, you'll put yourself into that meditative state where your mind goes into the alpha state. And when your mind's in the alpha state, that's when your third eye just, if you can hold that meditative state, it's so easy to fall asleep at that point. But if you'll learn how to hold that meditative state, and you can channel when you're in that state, or if you choose, you can just tune into your third eye and see things that haven't happened yet. It's not that hard to do. Everyone can do this. Another way is through writing. I think this is called automatic writing. Try out channel writing. In this article, it's called channel writing, but I think it's called automatic writing. Try channel writing by simply sitting down each day, preferably around the same time, and writing down whatever pops into your head without thinking about it. Okay, that is channel writing. Automatic writing is where you're not even thinking about it and your hand just, it goes. Oftentimes, when rereading what you have written, you will notice a spark of wisdom and words and phrases you don't usually use. This is your guide's way of communicating easily through you. If you ever feel a great need to write something down or to simply write, acknowledge it and write. So another way that guides will try to contact you is through numbers, as we mentioned before. Do you often see repeating numbers everywhere you go, like 111 on the clock? A number on a license plate. It could be anything. These are signs from your guides letting you know that they are there with you and you are on the right path. Try to focus on the thoughts you were having and the way you felt when you noticed the numbers. And these numbers they don't even have to be like the typical ones, 111, or like I said, what you might see is your birthday, and that might not be a typical number to anyone else but you. It could be a number that you just have a feeling about that's completely odd, like, I don't know, 657, which couldn't be a birthday. Maybe, I guess it could be if you're born in June of 1957, but, or that would break down to 612, which would be a 363, which are Tesla numbers. I do this all the time. When I see numbers, I'm always breaking them down into the lowest number and adding them up. But yeah, it all happens for a reason. And just look into these numbers that come into your life. Some of these numbers, as I mentioned, you might start seeing your birthday. Chances are you will start seeing your birthday a lot more often in on the clock or in change at a store, or you're filling up the gas tank. And if you're born on, 11/17, November 17th, you might end up seeing that you filled up your car and put in 11.17 gallons of gas in your gas tank, or petrol if you're from Europe. Petrol tank, get some petrol. Touch is another way. You may feel a light touch, like a hair or a feather brushing against your skin when you are down and having a bad day or a moment. That is your spirit guide letting you know that everything will be okay and that this trail is simply part of your life. If you ever feel a light tug or push, you may be in danger or off your life path. So you may get a tug or a push. That's a little bit different. Pay attention to that. Sometimes, even if you stumble or trip over something, maybe there's something you need to be more present of in that moment. Don't brush off these feelings as the wind or your imagination. They are your guides intervening and showing their presence. And the last one is orbs in pictures. Orbs surrounding you in pictures or in video are usually your guides letting you know of their presence. However, if you are thinking of a past loved one or sense they are near, it's probably them stopping by to say hello. Orbs can be any size or color, so rethink if that's a lens flare or something else. This is a beautiful article by Misty Marston. She's a friend of mine's daughter, a youngin'. She's a little older now, but she's, I think, a little older than my daughter. So she's probably 26 right now or so, but she just totally gets it. So proud of Missy. Great article. So many children have experienced spirit guides through imaginary friends. We see our kids, and sometimes people will discourage or ridicule their children. Oh, you don't have any imaginary friends. Well, I don't think any of us would do that, because we want to encourage that in our children for them to embrace their abilities. But some people would do that. And that's one thing we have to think about, is their imaginary friends. Maybe it is possible that they're able to see their spirit guides. How cool is that? So many children have experienced spirit guides through imaginary friends, or what the parents refer to as imaginary friends. Most psychologists will say that the imaginary friend is due to loneliness of the child, or as part of the play. But psychologists also state that children with imaginary friends will sometimes give them the personality they lack, or will talk to the friend about things that they are stressful about or that are upsetting to the child. Once the child grows into adulthood, the imaginary friend becomes less and less important, although some do retain their friend, but learn to suppress them due to adults and peer pressure. Spirit guides are nearly with us all the time, even if we choose to ignore them or are not in the habit of giving them a thought. They tend to approach us in a way that is familiar or comfortable to us, such as in a dream, during meditation, hypnosis, or in human or animal form. Some believe that spirit guides are souls that have been here before leading lives as we do now. Because they were once human, they have their own identities and own way of doing things. So how do you contact your spirit guide? Okay, to contact your spirit guide, you should sit quietly with no distractions, relax, clear your mind, and focus. This possibly could be done when going to bed at night. It's not necessary to speak it out loud. Spirit guides generally use telepathy to communicate because thought has its own energy. And I know that when I met Tamara, it was telepathic. It was just beautiful. So think of this meeting with your guide and mentally say hello, wait for an answer or a greeting. But don't expect this to happen immediately. Again, as with anything worth doing, it takes time and patience. So don't give up on this. Just give it a shot, okay? Just relax, say hello mentally, telepathically, see what happens. Relax, continue with your questioning. It's easier to limit your questions to yes or no answers. When first starting to contact your guides, keep it simple. So give that a chance tonight. If you haven't met your guide, try that envisioning process and see what comes up. So the four main types of spirit guides. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that article. That article came from How to Contact Your Spirit Guides by Conrad Raw. And this article that I'm quoting from is The Four Types of Spirit Guides According to a Psychic Medium. This is by Dr. Kelly Neff. So the four main types of spirit guides are deceased loved ones, spirits that are sent to help, ascended masters, and angels. So that reminds me, I had a conversation, an In5D live with a woman that specializes in angels last week. Her name's Susan Walter. Check out that video. It's really fascinating. So people are wondering, and she answered this question. I asked her that question as well. Are guardian angels the same as spirit guides? And she said no. And I agree. I definitely agree. It seems like I could see how angels could be spirit guides, but I think they're separate entities. So an angel could be guiding you spiritually, but your spirit guide, I don't think is what we envision as an angel. But yet they could be doing the same thing. Does that make sense? It does to me. So in this article, it says that spirit guides will use dreams, music, colors, coincidences, which are synchronicities, oracle cards, pendulums, bodily sensations, other people, animals, nature, automatic handwriting, which I was talking about before, visions, psychically, they can contact you, even plain words if all else fails. They'll use whatever works. So maybe, just pay attention. And maybe that's why they're giving us so much stimulation around us to distract us from making those connections, right? You may suddenly notice that the words to a song, or, there's a song that's running in your head over and over again. I've had that many times. It's just for no reason. I remember when an ex and I were broken up, the song Hello by Lionel Richie came into my head. And anyone that knows me knows that I'm a hard rocker. Lionel Richie's like the last song that would pop into my head. But, I ended up calling her, and we both ended up crying over that song. But so you may get those kind of songs that come into your head, a song out of the blue, out of nowhere. Or you might awaken with a dream that feels important in an odd way, or emerge from meditation with a sudden insight. Or you may encounter a stranger who makes an offhand remark that's just what you needed to hear. You might overhear something. As someone's walking by, they'll just say like somebody's name or words that you needed to hear at that point in time, which obviously they weren't saying that to you, but through them, they were saying that to you. You might feel drawn to journal, to write it down, or draw or paint. And whatever comes out there, that might be your message, and whatever incentive that you're writing about, or painting about, or drawing about. Or to walk in nature and suddenly see something in a tree's shape or a river's bend that perfectly illustrates what's really happening in your life. Or you may be suddenly struck by bodily sensations impossible to ignore. Or you may be drawn to oracles or other divining tools to clarify the assistance you seek. Your guides may, if nothing else works, even talk to you in your native language. But unless you've become very skilled at channeling, this avenue is usually a last resort, because the ego can be so easily garbled and deliberately obscure their message. Be open to any avenue, because they'll use whatever works. So the channeling part, I think that would be the last resort, because that can be easily co-opted. I do believe in channeling. Channeling is real, but I've seen like horror stories when it comes to channeling. So where a friend of mine I've told this before, but I know I've got new people here that have never seen me before and are like, who the hell is this guy? But I have a friend that was channeling this woman, channeling Mother Mary, and Mother Mary's giving all this great stuff, and she was telling her stuff that hadn't happened yet, and she would tell me, and sure as hell it would happen. And then eventually Mother Mary said, kill yourself. So, I channel, and I can channel when I get into that alpha state right before you fall asleep. I was channeling beings from Zeta Reticuli. And when they first told me that, I'm like, yeah, right. But it's true. And I didn't think there was a place at the time called Zeta Reticuli. I looked it up, and sure as heck there was. And they never told me anything bad. And at least when I channel, I had a person on here on one of our Zoom chats that actually had the same experience as I did. So when I heard the voice, it was like a male and a female voice layered on top of each other, talking at the same time. And as I'm thinking about my question to them, they're already answering. Obviously, one of my first questions was, how is this even possible that we're having this conversation? But as soon as I thought of they're already starting to answer the question telepathically. So channeling is real. Just be very careful with it. What I ended up doing was I decided that I'm just going to cut out the middleman. Screw it. I'm just going right to source. So I'd imagine I could probably still contact the Zetas if I wanted to, but I don't want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute the chat room right now. Namaste. Hello, everybody. You are all.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi. Who's that? Gabriel. Welcome.
Gabriel.
This is your first time here.
Yes, correct.
Ah, awesome. Glad you could make it.
Oh, thank you.
What's your experience with spirit guides and guardian angels?
Well, so far not with any guardian angels. Spirit guides, I've been removing some spirit guides that have been in me for quite a long time that
there's some non-frozen ones like the
seem to take control of my life.
What did they give you like names or anything? Did you know who they were?
No, I was going through somebody else because I was going through like a challenging part of my life. And it seemed like I would keep going back to this same when during stressful situations, the same repetitive uh, cycle that I would do. And it told me that it had been a spirit guide that was with me for 40 lifetimes now. And it was helping me to remove that spirit guide, which it did help. I kept falling back to it, but recently I've tried to remove it on my own through being grounded and searching through my chakras and basically removed it. It's been about 3 weeks now, and I've really moved away from a lot of the stressor. How can I say this? The stuff that I fall back on for the stressful situation. So now I'm just doing it. How can I? I don't know how to explain it, but I just seem a lot more empowered myself.
It's my
It's really
understanding
neat.
that if you ask them to leave, they have to leave. There's no ands, ifs, or
Yeah, I
buts.
did. Yeah, but I thanked them before they left as well.
Right.
And I gave them, because they did help me through. I was abused as a child, through up into my teens. And I think that was where they helped me to, go through that during my lifetime. But now I am no longer going through the same circumstances. So it was like, I don't need this anymore. And it was nice to, I feel relieved, you feel kind of renewed. Very, very pretty. But now I feel there's still things or spirit guides that are there that I don't know if I can't tell if they're hindering me or helping me. So that's, I'm still, this everything's new to me. I've been being learning about meditation, my chakras, and being grounded for about 2 years now. So I'm kind of in my infancy still in all of this. And I'm just looking for more ways to expand self so that way I can help others to get out of very stressful or depressive states that they're in.
It's interesting. I think that they're going to be helpful. Obviously, I can't see a spirit guide doing anything other than helping you. As I mentioned in, beforehand, sometimes you're going to end up taking like the long road, and you don't want to take the long road, but in the end, it might be more beneficial to take the long road because there's valuable lessons to be learned along the way. And we only have this one chance and this time in this third dimensional reality to take advantage of some of these important lessons that we're getting
Yeah.
before we move to the next stage of spiritual
Well,
progression.
can these spirit guides go through where they want to experience their feelings instead of our feelings?
I doubt it. I
Oh,
doubt it.
neat.
Yeah, I think they pretty much have to work in your best interest. I think,
Hmm.
that's the only way they can do that. I don't think they would do that. No, they're beyond that. No, I don't see that happening.
Well, that's good to know because this is something that I had, talking with somebody else and using and their um, knowledge to bring me to where I needed to be. So, I mean, the more knowledge and the more people I can talk to, because like I said, this is all new to me. So thank you
Mhm.
for the info. That's
Hey, my
nice.
pleasure, brother. Thank you
Yeah.
for stopping on, and
Yeah.
getting your voice
I
heard.
Thanks. I've been seeing you on Facebook for a while, just, popping in and out of your stuff. And I just came home. I'm gonna get a little touchy right here. Some stuff that's been going through my life right now. And what's really nice is you came and said, "Hey, get on Zoom." So when I just did it, so this is just a new experience, and I
That's
really
awesome.
appreciate it.
Well,
I
I'm trying to
thank
get a
you.
lot of people to come on here and like what you're doing and sharing their voices, their stories, their picture, their face, their voices,
Yeah,
everything. Everyone's got amazing stories to tell and we can all help and learn from each other. That's
yeah.
why this is so important.
I've been having an idea because there's so much depression that's going around throughout, this planet. this Zoom right here is a perfect way for us to come together and really help each other. And you've actually introduced me to a whole new platform for ideas that I've been wanting to get out there for people. And this is a really neat experience for me right now. And I
We
appreciate
had a
it.
girl on a couple days ago, Alicia, and she actually said that she's a waitress at a steakhouse, and somebody recognized her from watching this video at
Wow.
work. And that's what I'm, because there's, the videos will get around. You guys are all like your own little celebrities on here as well. I think it's really cool that people are making those connections. I'll read in the chat room where people will come on here on Zoom, but there will be people in the chat room on YouTube that are saying, "Hey, tell Gary I said hi."
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
so
neat.
that's what we're doing. We're bringing Star Family together.
Yeah, I think it's really important, to awaken the consciousness throughout this whole planet. This changed, and you're talking about it. I feel it. I've been feeling it for the last 5 years, like building up to something's just about to happen. And I've been telling people, and they're
Yep.
like, "Oh, you're crazy. You're crazy. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're this." And I'm like, I
By
take
the
it
end
for
of the
what it
year,
is. Yes.
by the end of the year, it's going to be huge. Well, listen,
I'm really
Gabriel,
excited.
I'm
Yes.
I'm going to see if I can put some other people on here real quick, but you're more than welcome to hang out with us and interject at any time. I want to see if I can get some other people to talk that maybe haven't talked yet before. Or
Thank you, Greg.
my pleasure, Gabriel. Thank you for joining us and sharing.
Okay.
So we're open, and all your mics are open if you want to join in. Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Don't be shy. I see. All right. So I'm going to pick somebody. I don't think I've spoken to Kika yet. Kika, I'm unmuting you. You there? Nope. All right. How about Elaine? Elaine, are you there?
Somebody's snoring.
I hear. Yeah, I must have put Elaine to sleep.
Yay!
Hello.
Why? Am I that boring? Maybe I have that calming voice, All right, how about Kim? How about Kimmy? You there, Kimmy?
Listen, just pay attention.
You there?
I just joined.
Okay. Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Kim's been
How's-
manifesting.
Yeah, I guess a little bit.
Did you just snort?
I did.
So Kim and I were talking, and she started manifesting. She manifested parking spots, right?
I did, and it worked.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So it does
And
work.
then you talked to your mother, and what happened there?
I talked to her about being more positive and trying to have a better outlook and thinking about good things happening and being thankful for what she does have in her life. And she thanked me because she was doing better. It made a huge
Just the little
difference.
things, right? Putting that out there and helping, making. This is what we do as light workers. We help spread the light, and so Kim learned the importance of where your thoughts are and manifesting, and she shared that with her mom, and her mom learned how to do that, and maybe it'll be a snowball effect.
I hope so.
Me too. Let's see. Catherine, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Nice to meet you.
My pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I've been seeing your stuff on Facebook for a while. So I saw your topic tonight, so I figured I would jump on.
Have you ever met your spirit guide or guardian angel?
Actually, I've had a bunch of experiences with spirit guides, and
How did you meet your spirit guides and guardian angels? Because people want to know.
okay. So for me, I started to see spirits, and So I started to get curious about that. And
Oh, wait. Time out. Were
Yeah.
they just like transparent entities, almost like ghosts, or were they actual people that could they walk through walls, or was it kind of like, me, I see this shadow figure kind of thing?
Well, how it happened for me, it happened when I was in my early 40s, and I would be talking to a family member about like my grandfather, and then all of a sudden I would smell his cigar,
Mm.
or, another time I was talking about somebody at work who had died in a very tragic way. And as I was telling a story about what had happened with the people at work, all of a sudden he walked right in front of me. He was in a group of people and he literally walked right in front of me and turned and looked at me. And I saw him as clear as I saw the other people that were walking in the group.
I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah, so that started happening to me, and I got
So is your grandfather one of your spirit guides?
well, the not that grandfather, but my other grandfather is actually one of my spirit guides. Yeah. So I got curious about that, and then I ended up finding out about a spiritualist church because I wanted to get involved in a spiritual community, but I didn't want it necessarily to be like a religious dogma kind of experience. So I just Googled spiritual communities, and then spiritualism came up and the spiritualist church came up. So there was actually a couple by me. And it's funny because a friend of mine who I didn't even know was looking into the same stuff. She called me up the next day and she's like, oh, I went to this spiritualist church, and she told me where it was. And she said, I think you would love it. And it was so synchronistic that I ended up going there, and I ended up sitting in mediumship circles for like 8 years every week. Okay. Which was really, it was really profound because I had so many experiences. But pretty early on, as soon as I learned how to meditate, which I struggled at first, but once I stuck with it and I kept going to the weekly circles, we started as a group. We would ask to connect to the spirit world and to give messages that were healing and helpful. And then we started to ask to meet our spirit guides. And so I'll never forget, I went home that night and
So wait. In this circle, you just put the intention out there to meet your spirit guide?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember the first thing I saw like, I didn't see my whole spirit guide. I just saw a robe.
But this is after you went home. You saw your spirit
Yeah.
guide then.
Well, in the meditation in the circle, when
Okay.
you were asking, I just saw like a piece of a garment, like a robe.
Okay. A clue. Yeah.
And then I went home that night, and I still put the intention out there that I wanted to meet my spirit guides. And in the morning, I started to be between like wake and sleep. And that's when I started to see this. I saw it looked kind of like a spool that you have a thread, like that you have thread on. Okay. And on the spool was a face. Okay. And then I was looking at the face, and then the spool would turn, and then another face would morph onto the spool, and then another one and another one. And I started to have this almost like, it's very hard to put into words because it kind of felt like I was in between worlds. Okay. But I started to see like one after another, and they were introducing themselves to me. And what
So you
happened
have like a team. A whole
yeah,
team.
yeah, there was a team, and they were here. They were in my house, and I started to like feel all of this love, this unconditional love, and there was this light that like appeared in my room. And it was really, it's hard to put into words what happened, but there was a
How
lot.
long ago was that?
That was almost 12 years ago.
Has this group visited you since then as a
Yeah.
group?
Yeah, yeah, they've been with me. So
Awesome.
there's been a lot of them, and over the years, it's there's like I think I could kind of feel like they're my family, and when they connect with me, I just feel this love, like just so much love. I don't even know how to put it into words, But during that
Yeah.
time, I felt like
Unconditional love.
yeah, unconditional love, and I felt oneness, and I felt like connected to everyone and everything. And at that time, they were actually I was waking up like at 3, 4 in the morning for a couple months before that happened. And I can remember when I would come back into my body after I can remember traveling with them, and I always knew it was them. It wasn't just one, it was them. They were taking me places, and I remember feeling like I knew what it was like to be part of the trees. I knew what it was like to be part of the ocean. So I just had this feeling of oneness and connection to everything and everyone for a period of time. It was beautiful. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it
What a
was
great
really
story.
nice. It was really cool. So
Yeah, you got a whole party that you're bringing along with you.
yeah, they're you know, then once I started to open up to meditating, that's when a lot of, things happened like that. And so I do a lot of that kind of stuff. Like I'll meditate and pray, and I'll, you know, connect with with God, my higher power, and I'll ask for stuff in my dreams. Like I'll ask to be shown, to be given guidance, or show me what I need to know right now. And then I'll have dreams. So they work with me in a lot of different ways. And yeah, and then I had a few experiences with different angels um, over the years, and a lot of stuff, but a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned that at first in meditation you struggled, like all of us did.
Oh
It's
yeah,
so hard to figure out, what is the best way to meditate, and you try different styles, and you end up finding a way that just is like maybe a conglomeration of everything you've learned and a
yeah,
mishmash of something that is comfortable and makes sense to you. So I totally get that. And then you said you asked for stuff in your dreams, personal things. That's huge. Put that intention out there for anyone that's listening
oh,
before you go to sleep. Put that intention out that you want to meet your guides or
yeah.
angels.
And don't just give up after the first time if it doesn't happen. Keep
Yes.
at it. Just be persistent, because
Mhm.
they want to know that you're serious too, and that you'll take it serious. Because a lot of people, like, they'll have a dream and they'll be like, oh, that was just a dream, but it'll mean something.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
because the spirit world, they have to work to connect with us. Like they have to lower their vibration. We have to raise our vibration, right, in order to kind of meet in the middle. So if we're just kind of like blowing them off and saying, yeah, I'm not, no, that was just a dream, or that was just a coincidence, then we're not really taking it serious.
Hmm.
And I think they're going to stop trying to, you know,
I
until we're
totally
ready.
agree.
Yeah, until we're
Kat,
ready. So
thank you for sharing, Catherine. I'm going to see if I can entice a few more people to talk. We have,
mm,
see, is it Nisi? Is that your name? Nisi? Nicey? Is that it? Nicey. Nisi. Okay. What's your experience with guardian angels and spirit guides?
Well, I don't know. It's working. Can you
Yeah.
hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, my spirit guide is my own gut, basically. I don't know personally. I think at one point though, I actually was physically visited by a guardian angel when I worked at Celestica Colorado, and I was just going through a really bad time. But I can't say for sure. It's really just a real gut feeling, and then he gave me a CD that he had made, and it's just all related. It's crazy. I'm not really prepared to.
It's okay.
There's so much. But I actually believe that was the guardian angel prepared to stand next to me, because it's such a terrible heartache type of place.
President Donald Trump was just impeached. But what was his crime? Last night, Donald Trump.
What?
President Donald Trump was just impeached. But what was his crime? Last night, Donald Trump.
Okay, hang on. Well, that's kind of interrupting a story right here. Let's continue on.
I'm like gun shy, really. It's okay. It's like I'm like, oh, I'm just safe. But yeah. Well, and then I looked him up, and it seemed I found a lot of information as far as like majoring in music and blah blah, and writing the operatic shows and music, like Dylan Witch Hunt for like in 1800s. He wrote an opera musical, and then I'm just like, it's crazy. And then I started to realize that maybe that was one of my past lives. It's just I'm not prepared. It's a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
But I believe. I believe that's all I can say. Yep.
Yeah. You're not alone. Many of us do, and to those out there that are listening or watching, or we gave a bunch of ideas and suggestions to before you go to sleep, put that intention out there, and if you want to hear, if you want to visitation from your guides, that thought and intention will help. I see there's some more faces here that I'd like to bring in. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
It's Gary. Hi, Gary. Are you unmuted?
Yeah, I'm on. I'm
There you go.
unmuted now.
And then we'll get to Simone after you. What's going on? How do you, what's your experiences with spirit guides and guardian angels?
So I've been in multiple car accidents on my 18th birthday, I crawled out of a car, and I don't even know how. The entire top of the car was smashed to the top of the seats. The door was smashed shut. Like there was no way to get out of the car, but I got out just in time to watch the car catch on fire and burn. Like,
wow.
And I had a scratch. I had a scratch on my wrist. That was my first experience with a guardian angel.
Did you actually see one? Or
I didn't actually see anything, but that's the only explanation that I have for, like, the car rolled, I don't know, 20 times down a hill, and then it went end over end like 4 times and slid for like 150 feet.
Wow.
I have no idea how I got out of this car. Like, it was, I still don't even know. But so I'm crawling.
It wasn't your time. It certainly wasn't your time to leave.
Yeah, I'm crawling out of the ditch smelling gasoline, and my friend's yelling for me because he's already out of the car. And I'm like, how did you get out of the car so quick? Well, I'm like twice his size, so it was easier for him to get out. But I will never understand how I got out. I mean, even to look at the car, because I've got pictures, to look at that car, it's like.
So do you feel like an angel or a guide literally dragged you out?
I'm not even sure. because I kind of came to in the ditch. Like I know I was in the car, but then all of a sudden I didn't know how I was going to get out. I was trapped. I had a seatbelt on, like I was crunched inside this car. And then I kind of came to outside the car, like crawling up out of the ditch. Like I came aware of the fact that I was still moving and still, like, it was my effort, but I don't know how I got out. I was like I blacked out for like a minute and then came to crawling up out of the ditch going, I got to get away from this car because all I can smell is gas. And then it's on fire. And so the next experience was another car accident, or not a car accident. I was in a car accident, but I had ended up in the hospital with broken ribs and a punctured lung. The lung wouldn't heal, so I had to have surgery. During the surgery, I had an out-of-body experience where
How old were you at this point?
I was 26. I was 26 years old when that happened.
So you're having surgery.
Yep, I'm having surgery, and I'm not sure somebody messed up, right? Because all of a sudden I'm watching everything that's going on below me, and I'm talking to.
So you're having an OBE.
Yeah, I'm having an out-of-body experience. I'm talking to Jesus. I'm talking to my grandmother. I'm talking to great grandparents that I never knew. I'm talking.
Were they like trying to tell you to go into the light, or were they just
no, they're actually telling me to hang out because it's not my time, and I've
again,
got more
it's
work
not
to
your
do.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not my time. I've got to go. And so I'm like, no, but this is cool, because I can float around, like I can fly around the room and I can see.
And you have no pain either.
Right. There's no pain. There's no restriction at all. So I'm like, no, this is cool. I don't want to do, like, I'm good. Let's go. And so my grandmother, who had passed away like 6 years prior, was the one who was like, no, you have to, like, she shoved me back in my body. She's like, no, you're not done yet. and she was always kind of that way. Like, she was always strict. So it didn't really surprise me that it was her that did that. But then, so since I've had that experience, I've never met a spirit guide. Like, I don't know who my spirit guides are. I've never been introduced, but I know that, like, since then, I've had my my maternal grandfather and grandmother have both passed away, and they've both visited me, and not in a dream. I mean, like, I'll be sitting here and, like, I can smell my grandmother's perfume, and I'll start talking to her, and then I can hear her. And the same with my grandfather. I'll smell a cigar and I'll be like, Gramps, like, is that? And the next thing you know, I'll sit here and meditate, and they're talking to me. My father talks to me. And are they my spirit guides? I mean, they might be now, or they might be part of the team now, but like, there's no denying it. It's real. I mean, close your eyes and think about someone that you love. Like, close your eyes and think about someone you love. If you can't feel that love, if you can't feel them right there with you, then you know what I'm saying? Like, it's real. We're all energy. And
yeah, I got visited by my dog the other night. I could smell my dog with me. It was beautiful, actually.
That's amazing, because my Rocket passed away. I had to have him put down. He got really sick. And he is still here with me. Like, especially when I'm really sad or my daughter's really sad, he's right here. It's weird because I'll hear his toenails on the floor in the kitchen. And I'm like, what the heck? And I know it's him because the other dog moved out with my stepson because it was his dog. So
they say that animals go to the Rainbow Bridge, but I kind of wonder if they actually stay behind in loyalty and wait for us.
I'm pretty sure my dog is with me, like, and not constantly, but like, especially when, during sad times, or like, especially like if Casey's having a rough day or something like that, the dog is here. Like, she will tell you that dog was her best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, he's with me.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're just testament to what many of us have gone through. You know, you were 18, you had the car accident, 26, you go into surgery and you're out of your body. You know, I've had the stage 3 cancer I should have died from, a heart attack last September, should have died from that. I've been in several car accidents that probably should have died in. You know, a lot of us are here for a much greater reason. And
Yes.
it wasn't our time. And the way I see it is like, you know, yeah, I lost my sister in 2011 and she was only like 53 years old.
But she's still with you all the time though. Like,
oh, of course,
when we die, our body dies, but our spirit is set free to be our true whole self. And then we're completely aware of everything and everyone all the time.
my sister visits me and she's young, she's beautiful, she's healthy. She looks like she's in her early 20s. When I see myself in my dreams, I'm usually in my late 20s. I'm older than most people, but most people I see in my dreams are in their young 20s. But we all have, you know, we're all driving down this, you know, highway of life, and we all have these exit points. You know, yours was that car accident, the surgery. You know, mine was a car accident, you know, stage 3 cancer, heart attack, possible exits, but here we still are, you know, moving on, moving forward. There's something much greater that we're here to do.
I'll tell you, when I was 16 years old, I never believed that I would live to be, I never thought I'd live to see 30 years old. I never believed that I would be older than 30 until I was until I actually had that out of body experience. Because even at 18, I mean, to survive that crash, you know, I was like, yeah, I've got a guardian angel, but yeah, so what? You know, I guess we all do, right? No big deal.
At least, yeah.
But to now be 43 years old and to be having the experiences that I'm having now, to be able to completely go from literally not caring about nothing. I mean, 10 years ago, I was diagnosed.
We're fearing death, you know, no fear of death whatsoever.
Yeah, no fear of death. I mean, so 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy, and it's not anything that can be cured. There's no therapy. There's no.
Dude, wait, time out. Join us on Monday with when I interview Andy Monks again. There might be a possibility that you can be cured and healed of all this with just being vegetarian or fruitarian.
Trust me, I'm already on top of it. I'm on top of it. I watched this Monday. I wasn't on the show, but I watched the entire show yesterday and took notes. And I went out and got groceries today, and that's all I bought.
Me too. I bought it. Even despite getting a bunch of Valencia oranges from my parents on the way home, I still stopped off to the farmer's market and bought a bunch more of fruit. Lots of fruit. I got
all berries, oranges, apples, bananas, but mostly berries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything I could find.
Pineapple. Heck yeah. Good. I'm glad you're on board, and let's hope that this moves forward in a positive way. Feel free, because at the end of that show, I'll be bringing aboard people. If you want to ask them any personal questions, via Zoom, I'll be bringing people at the end of the interview on if you want to ask anything.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, I'm sure you can attest to anyone that's watching right now. Watch that video.
Yes, watch it.
It'll be the most
Please
important video that you've seen.
It will change your life. It seriously will change your life.
Yep. Andy Monks. I talked to Kimmy right here. I called her a couple of days ago, and we talked about this and how important this was to me. And you know, I'm willing to give it a shot, definitely. And just about everybody that was there in the YouTube chat room was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
You know, so it was very, very powerful. I can't wait I've already started, and but just to continue with this and see where it leads me.
Well,
so how has that gone today, Greg?
What's that?
How did that go today?
Well, I had a smoothie for breakfast, and then Valencia oranges that I picked at my parents' house for lunch, and a banana, and that's it. And I feel great.
You been hungry?
No, I'm not hungry at all.
Wow.
That's all I had. Yeah, and I feel great. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll make it until tomorrow. You know, that's what he recommends is intermittent fasting. So you have breakfast, have lunch, and you can have like snacks in between, some grapes or whatever kind of fruit. But then like after 5 o'clock, that's it. Intermittent fasting until the next morning and start all over again. I can't wait to purify and detox my body, but that's not what we're talking about right now. But for those watching, I highly recommend watch that other video and then check us back out on Monday because he'll be coming back.
What's the name of the video?
It's In5D Live with Andy Monks, Monks.
Okay.
And you'll find it right here on the In5D YouTube channel, and I'll be posting it on in5d.com probably tomorrow as well with all the links. That he's
I'll tell you,
given.
I'd like to say just the energy that Andy puts off. I mean, that whole video that I'm telling you, if that guy, I think he was levitating off
It
of
was
his chair almost the whole
exhilarating.
video.
Wow.
He just, his energy is, that's what I want. I want to have that kind of energy.
Yeah.
Blew me away. He says he only gets like 4 hours of sleep too.
Yeah.
Says you're going to be more productive. You'll make more money because you need less sleep, and you can activate the light body, turn on the pineal gland, have out of body experiences, everything through being a fruitarian.
Yes.
I'm
No
like, okay.
vegetables at all.
No,
Mhm.
don't
He
need them.
was amazing.
I'm all in because I love fruit. I don't like veggies. So,
And that's
I
something
did
strange
try it
too.
myself, so.
but let's get back
smoothies.
focused on our
Yes.
topic here.
I did want to mention something, if it's
Okay.
okay. You were talking about your pets that had passed,
Yeah.
and I had an experience with my cat, and my cat he lived on my porch for about 12 years. He was a stray, or well, he actually belonged to a neighbor around the block, but they kicked him out. And he came up my driveway the day of this huge blizzard, and I thought he was a kitten, and he was tiny. I gave him like 5 bowls of water, and I brought him to the vet the next day, and they said, no, he's 2.5, but he's, he hasn't been given the proper nutrition, so he's tiny. So anyway, I couldn't make him an indoor cat. He just wanted to be outside so bad. So we got him a little heated house, and he lived on our porch, and we named him Blizzard. Okay. So he stayed with us for 12 years, and he's like the mayor. He knew everybody. So he ended up getting kidney disease, and he was out there one day, and a pit bull from a couple of houses down got out of his backyard and came over to the house and got him. And I ended up having to put him down because he got so injured. But, it was so hard to do because, I didn't want to let him go. And when I got home that night from putting him down, I closed my eyes. And as soon as I closed my eyes, I can see him in my mind's eye. And he was showing me where he was in heaven. And he was showing me, he was like, Mom, and he was actually talking to me in my head. I could hear him. He had this cute little voice. And he was like, Mommy, he's like, don't be sad. I'm here. Look, he said, I'm here with Grandma and Grandpa. And he showed me my grandparents. He jumped into their arms. And then he showed me every single one of my pets that was over there.
Wow.
And he's like, look, Mommy, I'm happy. I'm climbing trees. So he showed me, him climbing trees and everything. And I was like, wow. And then he kept showing me my porch. And he goes, don't worry, I'm always going to be here with you. He says, I'm not leaving, So like he was kind of showing me that he was there, but yet he's still here with me,
Right.
So I left his house. This was like 3.5 years ago.
Mhm.
So his house is still out there, and I have a little statue. I buried him right in front of the front porch. And, but anyway, that was my proof that they don't go to a separate place. They're actually with all of our loved ones and our relatives, and they're part of family, So.
Something I heard I think it was from Dolores Cannon, who many of us just adore. But
Yeah.
she said that one of the last incarnations that an animal will have is as a dog. And I think that was the last incarnation. When your last incarnation, you come back as a dog, probably because you learn that unconditional love. You know, you see all these horror stories of people beating their animals, you know, and you might beat that dog and go to work and come back the next day, and that dog's going to have its head down and it's going to be timidly wagging its tail and still trying to love you despite being beat every day.
Yeah.
And that's the unconditional love that they just keep putting out there and that they model to us. But yeah, according to Dolores, that's when right before your last incarnation as an animal is going to be as a dog.
Mm-hmm. Well, dog is God spelled backwards.
True.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring on Simone next, and then Sarah, we'll bring you on. So Simone, what's your story on? And thank you for sharing, Catherine.
Oh, you're welcome.
Simone, what's your stories on?
I have dozens.
Guardian.
I have dozens. I just heard my dad too. The first real conscious experience that I had was I was 10 years old. We had just moved to Las Vegas. I was still asleep, and I thought I was dreaming about my grandfather. And he had come in, and he's from Germany. We're in the United States at this point. And he sits down on my bed next to me, and he's just talking to me. And it's weird because I'm thinking, wow, I'm understanding him really good. And he's speaking German. Anyway, and he told me a lot of things like, you know, your parents are doing the best they can. You got to be strong, and you got to understand that, you know, things happen. And anyway, and so that was, you know, it's very interesting. I thought it was a dream. I get up, and my mom is just getting off the phone, and she's crying. She says, your grandfather just passed away. And I said, oh, how weird. I just dreamt about him. So, you know, good. Oh, that's awesome. You know, it's imagination or whatever, you know, no interaction other than that.
Well, you know, it was more than just your imagination.
It changed my whole perception on life because it was so real. You know, it was so real to me. 2014, my father dies. I was literally in the middle of I do a morning meditation. It was my Archangel Michael focused meditation. Anyway, I was in the middle of it, and I just got this overwhelming feeling of love and an embrace and my father. And in my mind's eye, I kept seeing my dad, like young pictures. We grew up in Canada, so I've seen lots of things playing out from Canada. We used to hike and ski a lot. Anyway, it was just so, just even now thinking about it, it was just so wonderful.
Do you feel like your dad's a spirit guide or a guardian angel?
Kind of a guardian angel, more or less. I mean, I hear his voice a lot of times guiding me. I hear his voice. I hear his voice a lot of times. Like if I'm in a dilemma or I need to do something, or even a confrontation, which I never mind, I don't get those anymore. But if I'm in a situation where I'm not exactly sure what to do, I'll hear my dad say, you know, try this, you know, in his very strong German accent, even, you know.
I've already told my daughter that once I finally pass, I'm going to be following her like her shadow. I'm going to be everywhere. She can't run and escape me. I'm going to be everywhere looking out over her, except in the bedroom. I don't want to know anything about that.
I kind of always felt like that. My dad's always kind of been there, you know. But anyway, so I realized what time it was. I said, okay, I can come out of meditation, because I knew what he was doing, because I just spent 2 weeks with him, I spent a month with him. I just left 2 weeks earlier. And I call, and his wife answers the phone, and she says, hold on. She passes the phone to another man. And he's like, Simone, you're Kurt's daughter? I said, yes. He says, I'm so sorry, but I just pronounced your father dead. I was like, what the fuck? He wasn't sick. This was a weird thing. But I was like, oh my gosh. This happened on a Thursday, skip forward to the next Tuesday. And I was living in Maui at the time. And I normally went and swam in the ocean, but it had been really, really cold. So I went, the community pool was close to me. So I went to the community pool and I'm swimming, I'm doing my laps because that's what I do for my strength. And I keep seeing this big dragonfly like this. And I'm like, we don't see many dragonflies in Maui, especially in West Maui. Up in the upcountry, that was more typical. Anyway, so I'm thinking about my dad and I see this dragonfly. I'm like kind of going spastic. And I was like, what the fuck? Excuse me. What the, and I'm swimming. I'm thinking about my dad and I'm like, wait a minute, Dad, is that you? I literally paused in the pool and looked up and this dragonfly came right and hovered right in my face. So
Dragonflies are such a powerful metaphysical symbol.
can you see this? Can you see that?
Hang on,
That's
let
a
me get
huge
it on
dragonfly.
speaker view. There you go. You're gonna have to come up a
Yeah.
little higher.
Okay, hold on. Let's do that. There we go. There, and it's watching me. All the tattoos I have are insects, nonetheless. Anyway, so those were those experiences with past loved ones, and I've had others with people that pass. In 2007, I had been working in Wyoming and I was living in Iowa at the time, and I was actually coming home. I was done with that assignment and I was coming home. I have no idea what happened. Absolutely no idea. I'm driving. I'm like, turns out I was just 3 miles from my home. I'm driving, and the next thing I know, my truck, I had an Explorer. I was on the other side of the highway going over. I went back over front, roll, roll, roll. My truck lands up on the feet, on the things. But as I'm going over, I'm tripping out. I'm like, what the F is going on? I have no clue. And I hear this woman's voice. She said, Simone, relax, let go of the steering wheel and just go with the roll. I had my seatbelt on too. And I was like, okay, and I did. The car stops, the truck stops, and I am facing up, I'm facing the hill. I came down 80 feet and I'm looking up. I can see the highway. I was southbound and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I lost it. I lost all my composure that I had for those few moments, blew on the horn. Anyway, I was like, okay, let me open the door because I could hear everything crashing, the glass breaking and stuff. But I had no idea. I opened up my door, which was amazing. The grass was really high. I pushed it and I got out and I'm standing and I turn around and look at my truck. There was literally a bubble of the car where I sat. The rest of it was crushed below the window part of the doors. And my neighbor was actually the one that had stopped when he heard the horn.
I wonder if that was your father hugging you, that bubble.
No, because this was, well, maybe in another dimension, but it could have been my grandfather.
Yeah.
Could have been my grandmothers. All of them folks have passed.
Something there was.
But it was amazing. The only thing I had was a few, because the glass had broke. So I had a few little things and nothing, not bleeding or anything. They were just amazed, totally amazed. Turns out I didn't even realize that, but that part of the highway there in Corning, Iowa is called Dead Man's Curve. So that was again, and I was already understanding that everything happened for a reason, and I still can't quite figure out why that happened, because literally it felt like the car was picked up, moved onto that side of the road and flipped over. There was nothing. It was a beautiful, clear day. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. That's probably one of the weirder experiences that I've had. But I gallivant out in the astral occasionally and hook up with different people or astral bodies and stuff. But it's, I've known for a long time that this isn't it. This is just like a manifestation for something for us to base stuff on. you know, like.
And what's so cool about
don't know,
everyone
but-
sharing these stories, you know, about their experiences is it normalizes it for a lot of people that are watching or might
Right.
watch it in the future, you know, as on the recorded version of this. But it's okay to acknowledge and talk about this kind of stuff. It's real, it's happening. Just because you may have friends that will ridicule you about your beliefs about spirit guides and guardian angels. Keep preaching your
Not to
truth,
my
keep
face.
putting your truth out there, because this is real and it's happening. And if nothing else, you can come here on In5D and talk about it, where you will not be ridiculed at all.
Right, right. I had
So
another, what I
Go ahead.
consider a major experience was I had a hysterectomy in, it was October 2001. October 1st was the surgery. I was released on October 3rd, went home, got home about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Went upstairs, was putzing around, you know, very simple. Like, you know, I had a laparoscopic, so I wasn't all gashed open, but still. And I don't know what I did. I turned around or something, and a massive, massive pain. I looked down and my incision had opened and I could see stuff. So I laid down right away, called my daughter and had her get me the phone, called the doctor, couldn't get a hold of anybody. Finally, I said, you're going to have to call 911. I can't even hold it together. There's nothing, I can't, I was in so much pain. So and this was like at 3:30 in the afternoon, like 2.5 hours after I got home from the hospital. I was on life support by 4 o'clock in the afternoon on my way back to the hospital. One of the only things I recall about being in the trauma unit of the hospital was watching everything going on from above, like, oh, and it was so cool because I was like, my mom was there. My mom never goes to the hospital, but my sister told me, she says, oh, they thought you were dying, Simone. They got you. And I saw my dad in Arizona too. This was in, like I said, 2001. And he got up, they had called him to get to the airport because they didn't know how long I was going to be on this planet. And I'm watching, and then I felt like a shock, like, no, you got to go back, you know. But it was weird. I could tell them what was going on, and there was 3 other trauma rooms. There was 4 trauma rooms besides mine, and I could tell what was going on in the other 3 rooms. So again, I just, you know, there's so much more to this experience. And yes, you know, I'm sorry if people had made fun of you or anything, but cheese and rice, just, you know, they do that out of fear, you know, because some people might have that experience, but because of their programming and upbringing, they're not going to acknowledge that because, you know, it's not a good thing. So anyway, yeah, those are just a few. I have them pretty much daily in a small degree, not as intense and as practical as those, but yeah, my past critters are with me. We had a cat for 22 years, Nala, and he shows up, but I see him. I'm like, anyway, I see him occasionally. He comes out. And then I think somehow he might blend with some of the other critters around me that, you know, like will come to me when I'm, you know, when I'm needing some extra love or whatever. These animals will just come up. And so sometimes I wonder if that's Nala or Daisy, the dog. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. It makes my life easier. You know, I've never had a fear of death. That experience with my grandfather kind of cemented to me that what they're telling me, and I had zero, not a religious upbringing. So I wasn't indoctrinated to any of those things, but I knew at a level that death was nothing to be afraid of. My whole thing, when a good friend of ours died in Canada, I remember all the adults saying, oh, so blessed she died in her sleep. So I didn't know who God was or anything. I mean, I had an idea, but I can remember being in bed at night and saying, my sleep, please. You know, a little 10-year-old doing that. So I have a feeling I might get my wish. I don't know.
So
anyway, yeah, blessings to everybody that has you know, contradictions from people, because I know that can be hard. It can be disheartening, but you probably can tell I don't give a rat's behind about what other people think for the most
And
part.
what you
so.
were experiencing with the near-death experience, and I think Gary was saying also, you know, when he was out of his body, I have a video on In5D, and I'll put the link down here in the more info section. But what I did was I researched all of these people that have had near-death experiences. They crossed over to the other side, and the commonalities of everything that they all experience, and it tells such a beautiful story. And in most of these cases, actually in all of the cases, when people are on that other side and they're feeling that unconditional love to a magnitude you can't express here on 3D Earth,
No.
they don't want to come home, even though they have, like, you know, a family, you know, husband, wife, children, and every great
Yeah.
reasons to come back. They don't want to come back. It's that
I didn't
kind of
have
love
that
you
feeling.
feel
I didn't
there.
think
And what-
I
that's what we're
was.
gonna
About to
feel.
turn 60.
That's what we're going to feel, that kind of love to that magnitude when the event happens. So it's something that we all can look forward to.
I
And
think, does that have anything to do with the DMT releases or anything? I mean, I've done
don't
DMT,
think
I've
so.
done ayahuasca. It's not like that.
yeah, I don't think so, because like DMT would, you know, you'd probably see your spirit guide and go off onto like a trip like that. It's way too common to be more than just DMT.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I
Well,
just
I wanna-
wonder
I
because
wanna
it's
thank
so
you for-
loving. You're right.
I want to thank you for contributing, Simone, and I need to move on to some other people here, but thank you once again. Sarah, I see you're here, and would you like to say hi and share what your experiences with spirit guides and guardian angels? Let's there you go. You're live. Now you're live.
Hi, I'm unmuted. Hi, I'm
Yes.
Sarah. I'm in Sarasota too, Greg.
Oh, awesome. Yay.
Nice to be on your show.
My pleasure. Thank you for joining us and sharing your codes and your stories.
I've been watching for quite some time now. I'm usually silent. I've had some experiences, of course. It started when I was younger, but I'd like to maybe talk about a more recent experience because I was very cynical, and the spirits were very persistent in showing me that it was real and they were there to guide me and show me the way. And I had an experience listening to shamanic music where I had an ancestral visitation that changed my perception and the outcome of my life thus far. It was 5 years ago. And I asked for the spirits to show me a few things because I didn't really believe that it was happening. I wasn't sure if it was my imagination or just the desire to have such a transformational experience. And I asked them to show me feathers of confirmation. And within 3 days, well, because I did not get out very much, I'm a disabled nurse. I've been home for quite some time. So for me to get a confirmation of feathers, I was laughing and like, you know, I don't really go out, so you'll have to bring the feathers to me, you know. And I would say on the 3rd day, a peregrine falcon landed on the fence 2 feet from my back porch. And I turned to my husband and I said, do you think that that counts as a confirmation of feathers, like an entire bird? And it definitely did. And the birds kept coming and the spirits kept carrying me and guiding me, and my intuition was highly heightened. I changed my lifestyle. I let go of medicating my pain, and the spirits will help you change your life if you surrender and give in to them. I don't really want to say too much more. I feel like I've shared enough and I'm nervous.
Okay, wait, time out. So
Okay.
I would like you to watch that show I had with Andy Monks a couple days ago. Go back on the In5D YouTube channel, watch that show, and maybe even join us on Monday. It's gonna.
I would like to join you on Monday.
life.
I did see part of the show last week, and I'm familiar with the iridology where they read the iris of the eyes. Yes. I do have fibromyalgia. I do have a couple of the things that he
Great.
mentioned.
I'm going to ask him about that on Monday. So you tune in for the answer.
Okay, I will. Did you say around 3 o'clock Eastern
12
or
o'clock
noon?
Eastern.
Okay,
Go off
noon.
our time, Sarasota
Yes.
time. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to put that down on my list. And yeah, great. So hopefully we'll get some answers on that as well.
Right. Thank you for having me, and thank you
My
for
pleasure.
the space. I enjoyed sharing, and I'll continue to listen.
Awesome. Thank you.
Excuse me, Greg. I don't mean to interrupt, but
No, go ahead.
could you also ask Andy about diabetes? That's the thing that I
I already did. And he said, yeah,
Okay, well,
he said
I
that
haven't had a chance
both
to watch the
stages
show
can,
yet, so I guess I got to watch that. Never
Yep.
mind. Thank you.
yeah. And by the way, your shirt should be there tomorrow or the next day.
Awesome, man. Yeah,
Filled
I'm
it out
wearing
yesterday.
one now
Thank
too. So
you.
great, man. Thanks.
Yeah, it's the purple one, right?
Yep.
Good choice. I love that shirt, man.
When I saw
Yeah.
that one, I thought, yep, that's the next one. I mean, I've got 5 now, so I plan on wearing them like every day, you know.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Andy, after I had him on the show, he ordered 4.
Can't blame him, man. They're magic.
Yeah, I just mailed those out today. So
All right. Well, thanks, Greg.
you're welcome, brother. Hey, if you want to contribute, do you have anything you want to talk about spirit guides, guardian angels?
Well, I mean, I've mentioned I've got some serious guardian angels, I think, looking after me. I mean, all throughout my life, I mentioned the fact when I was about, I guess, 15, I came real close to like having an accident where I probably would have lost my right arm from the elbow down. But just before the car hit where my arm was hanging out of a car window, I just got the urge to scratch or something. And next thing I know, wham, you know, I mean, if that's not a guardian angel looking out for me, I don't know what is, you know. And I had experiences in the military where, you know, I got chased up a hill about a quarter of a mile by a wild boar, and it didn't catch me. I don't know why, because I had on horrendous Arctic weather boots called Mickey Mouse boots that you just can't run in ice and snow. And somehow I made it up that hill and through the gate, and the pig was on the other side, and I was alive, you know. And it's like that was a miracle right there. So I mean, I really have guardian angels and spirit guides looking out for me. And I just wanted to say too, man, that you know, that the other night talking about the people that come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, you know, that really hit the nail on the head, and it's really helped me process that and kind of move forward, looking forward to what's coming next, you know. So thanks for that.
My pleasure. Yeah, that was on that article. So your spiritual awakening cost you some friends, which every person that's watching right now has gone through that. We've all lost close friends who, you know, just don't understand the awakening process.
But, you know, luckily we do have our guardian angels and our spirit guides and our soul tribe helping us move forward, you know.
And look at all the friends we've made since then. How many more?
really?
Look at this group that we have right here.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I mean, I feel, you know, even though some of you folks are, I mean, like Simone's in Guatemala, but I feel like I'm just, you know, sitting across the table talking to her, you know. I mean, it's an awesome experience. And I'm so glad that you have all this going and you know, moved it into Zoom chat and all that good stuff.
Oh, heck yeah. And like I said,
It
you know,
opened up a lot of windows for me, you know, a lot of doors, a lot of things to think about, you know.
when I started this, I said, you know, I'm going to do this as often as possible. And I kept my word. And we're going to continue doing this as often as possible and bringing more and more people aboard, you know, hearing more. Everyone's got amazing stories to tell, you know, got hundreds of topics we can talk about. And if nothing else, we'll just do a spirit chat and talk about whatever's on our mind at that point in time. So it's great. Thank you for sharing. So I'm going to open up the chat room once again. If anyone hasn't spoken yet, you're more than welcome to speak. I'm going to unmute everyone right now. So if you haven't said anything or...
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, James.
Hey, how you doing, Greg?
Good. What experiences have you had with the spirit guides and guardian angels?
So, you know, I told you guys, you know, I spent many years with the whole Christianity, but as I left that, I was
good channels to watch except liberal mainstream media.
Hang on. There we go. You're good. Sorry about that.
So I, you know, for like 10 years, I've been studying esoteric stuff since a few years before 2012, just looking, searching everywhere.
Of course, on In5D, you did a lot of research.
Yeah, but I was scared to touch a lot of the stuff for a long time, you know, just scary, like, oh, that's witchcraft, or that's gonna do this or that, you know. But then I finally, this year, I said, okay, you know, new year, new me, I started doing my meditations. Well, just the other night after we got off, I went to bed, I did meditations, and I've always felt like everybody had spirit guides, and I didn't understand because I didn't have any, I had never had any contact that I knew of. So the other night I was sitting there, I was doing a third eye meditation, and
the mirror meditation.
Yeah, I was doing a meditation for my third eye, but I was also like, I mix in asking questions.
Okay.
And so I was asking a lot about spirit guides. I was like, how do I contact you? How do I learn to talk to you? I know that you have to be there. I made it this far. And I heard a very light, I whisper. That was what I heard. I whisper. And that same night, I was sitting there in my, you know, live in the middle of nowhere. I had the power turned off, you know, so there was no light coming into my house at all. All the windows darkened. And I was sitting there meditating with my eye closed. And I swear it felt like somebody had come in the room, turned the lights on, and then was pulling my eyelid up a little bit. Like light was just coming in. And it would like kind of be here, then it would switch to over here. And so that weirded me out. I wasn't sure what that was. And then the next day after you had Andy on, that was just yesterday or the day before. Yeah, it was yesterday. You had Andy on. And after that, I was just going through your catalog of videos, and it said how to open your third eye. And it was like 5-6 minute video, dude. And you described like exactly to a T what I experienced the night before. And so it was crazy. So I'm still on that journey.
It's so easy to do too. It's so freaking easy to do. Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, you can, once you train yourself to get into that alpha state, you can channel, you can go all sorts of different places. You can actually have a pen and a piece of paper and start writing down, you know, messages and or whatever it is you're seeing, and just continue going on. It gets easier and easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. I'm excited. I about a week ago, I had some dreams where instead of it being a dream where I was involved, you know, you have dreams and you're involved and they're weird and maybe you don't understand. It was other people. It was 2 other people's dreams or lives or something. And I think it has to do with like remote viewing or something. I haven't quite figured it out yet. It's all very new to me and I just love it. And I'm glad I have you guys to talk to about this stuff and learn and, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and share as well.
Yeah. So it was cool. I'm gonna keep pushing and break through.
Right on. Well, thank you for sharing, brother.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, everyone else, unmute all. Everyone is unmuted right now. If you want to jump in, you're more than welcome
They can
to.
raise interest rates, which will either
I'll jump in.
stimulate.
Oh, hang on, wait a minute. I think Julia,
unstimulate
let me mute Julia because she's like
the economy.
up on a tangent somewhere. She's
So when
listening
you have a
to,
private bank,
sounds like she's listening
like
to
they
the
do all
news.
over the world.
There we go. Hey, Tamara.
Hey.
Hey, are you my spirit guide? No, I'm just kidding.
No, but you know what? I actually was going to contact you because every once in a while I get like I call them hits. I got a hit, but I'm always like, I always feel weird about, hey, I got a hit. Can I tell you? You know, my friends will go, oh yeah, but I didn't know you well enough to tell you. But you already went through it. You kind of went through it like right before I got the hit. Does that make sense?
The hits.
Like I was going to kind of write you a message last year and tell you, Greg, you know, I think you need to take care of yourself. I'm kind of feeling like your heart stuff. And then there were some other things too, but you automatically, you just lived through them. So, but I never.
Yeah, I finally got the message. I'm kind of thick when it comes to that. I'm like, oh no, I can eat anything. I can continue smoking cigarettes. They're organic. No, I quit smoking, eating healthy. Yeah, I was supposed to go through that so I can prepare my light body. We must be getting close. So, but thank you for.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. And I talked to Andy today for like probably 2 hours.
Awesome.
Phone. Yeah.
So are you
And
doing,
so-
you're going to do the fruitarian thing? Oh, heck yeah. This is so
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited for everyone.
Oh, me
that's
too.
doing
It's like,
this.
we should do like a group support group for it, you know?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, meet like every Monday or maybe once a month or something. Who knows? Chart our progress. And I'm really curious.
Exactly.
I'm charting my blood pressure, my blood sugar. We'll see what it's like after a week
you have a
and
little-
after a
little
month,
machine.
my weight. Yeah. So
Nice. Yeah.
So
I'm super excited. And I went over him with everything. Is an avocado, do you consider that a fruit or a vegetable? And I mean, I asked him tons of questions today, so I'm excited.
yeah, he's so open. Well, let's get back on the topic though. And for those
Okay.
watching, real quick, let me just give the promo for that. If you're watching, if you haven't seen it yet, watch that video that I did yesterday with Andy Monks. I'll be bringing them back on Monday, the 10th of this month at 12 o'clock Eastern time. And we're going to, if you have any questions, you can ask them then. So what are your experiences with spirit guides and guardian angels, Tamara?
Actually, I have a lot. I'm kind of the weirdo of the family. Always have
Aren't we
been.
all?
Mhm.
I think all of us are.
And a lot of things that I've experienced, it's actually taken me to be in my 50s now to know what it is. And in search of things and you don't know what they are, but you've just always been able to do it. And the angels are different than the spirit guides. The angels, I actually can feel and see them. And to me, they're kind of like that angelic presence that you can feel them.
Yeah, I always felt that they were a different entity too. Yeah, I get it.
And I know that when my dad passed away, like I was lifted out of my body when he had his heart attack. It's like I was sleeping, but something pulled me out and like dropped me back in and bounced my bed, kind of bounced. And like my spirit body went out of my physical body and they dropped me back into my body. So I bounced and woke up in my bed and could hear my mom screaming, and he had a heart attack. And so I went in, and it was like he woke me up to take care of business, like do the CPR and call the paramedics and everything. But the spirit guides for me, they're more like they will poke me or talk to me or protect me. Like, oh, you got to pull out, and it's like, oh, don't go. There's a car goes by, you know what I mean? Or backing up, or you know what I'm saying? Does anybody
So
ever have that?
would a spirit guide give you a feather, or would that be an angel?
Actually, both.
Would a
I've
spirit guide
received-
give you a numerical synchronicity, or would that be an angel?
I would think that would be. It just depends, I think.
What
'Cause
you're feeling. I agree with you. It would depend. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you feeling when that happens?
It's just like I've had the white feathers happen where I've known it's been like I know it's an angel. But then I've also had like a penny, and it's like, oh, I know who that's. I knew I walked by that area in the house a zillion times all day, and then there's a penny, and it's like, oh, hi, Mom, kind of thing. I do want to tell you, one of my angels looks like Mad Max.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm. When I used to live in Arizona, this was in the 90s. I had just actually got done with a psychic party. I used to do those in Arizona, go and be the psychic who did the readings. And I was leaving the party, and it's literally like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm on the crazy highway in Arizona, in Phoenix, and my car breaks down. And I'm like, oh dear Lord, now what am I going to do? Who am I going to call at 2 in the morning? Tow truck, I'm thinking, but I got to get to a phone. So I'm like, kind of sitting in my car. At that time, I had like this convertible car. And I just sitting there under the stars, and I look up and I'm like, okay, here's the deal. You know what the deal is. Can you just send me some help? So I'm sitting there, and you know the bypasses on the highway that go across the highway, the cars going back and forth. Well, mind you, I'm faced this way, and I see this Jeep go across really fast. And then I see it come back, and I see it coming the wrong way on the highway at me. It's my Mad Max. Like, I think it was an angel. And he's like, gets out, and he's got this crazy hair, you know, and these leathers on. And I'm just kind of like, wow, look at this guy. I'm like, this isn't a guy, this is an angel. I just, you know, I'm like looking at him like, all right, thanks, got it. And he literally pushed my car with his Jeep all the way up the ramp and all the way to my house until it kind of started, but he still followed me to make sure I got home. It was pretty great. And then when I turned back around to thank him, it was like he was just gone. But I knew he was like one of my angels. So I have really funny ones that things have happened where I can usually tell the difference between like my angels and my spirit guides. So
How many angels and spirit guides do you think you have? Have you met more than Mad Max?
I know, isn't that funny? That's the only way I can describe him though. Yeah, one of them is my dad who passed away, and he usually shows up like when I'm driving in the car, and I'll feel his presence and see that his body outline, you know what I mean? And it's like a light person, but I know that it's him. And he's been around for a long time, since I was probably about 17. And I've seen different psychics. And they're like, you know, your dad's always with you. And I'm like, oh, I know.
I would be that way for my daughter. Matter of fact, this is kind of funny. When my daughter was little, I remember telling her, I'd tuck her into bed and I'd read her a story, and then I'd tell her a story, I'd make up a story. I'd be like, once upon a time, there was a princess named, and she'd go, Brittany. Yeah, Brittany. And, you know, I'd just make up a story as we went. And then I would do what I called swish, swish. I'd just swish my hand on her cheek and tell her how much I love her, and more than anything, I love her, and tap her on her nose. But I remember asking her one time when I was tucking her in, and somehow we got on the story of heaven, you know, the afterlife, the other side, you know, and I said, well, what if I don't make it there? She goes, well, when I'm an angel, I'll fly down and I'll pick you up and I'll fly you up. That's my
Very
girl.
nice. Yep.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a good kid. So I want to thank you for sharing, and see if we can.
Yeah. I think we all could write little books full of all of our amazing experiences.
It's absolutely amazing, you know, all these experiences that we have. I see there's a hand up by Victoria. Hi, Victoria. How are you?
Hi.
You had your hand up. Hi.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
Hi. Enjoy the show.
Awesome.
I was going to tell you that I have experiences like others have said. There's one story I want to tell you, but I also want to say that my son has been a fruitarian for I think over a year now. So everything that you were doing with Andy, it sounded like my son talking to me. So
And how is he doing it? His energy is great, and he's not sick.
Yeah, yes, it's amazing. Sleeps 4 hours a night. You know, it's yes, everything he said I've seen. So yes, it is amazing, and I've tried it. Not as religiously as he does, but I also have really good you know, benefits. So
Just curious though, does he occasionally break it? Does he go out and have some pizza
occasionally,
now and then?
yeah. Yeah.
Good, because I plan on doing that. I'm not going to
Yeah.
eat fruit the rest of my life. Occasionally, I'm going to have a burger. I think on Thanksgiving I might have turkey. I'm going to have a
Right.
pizza now and then, but for the most part, yeah, I can do fruitarian.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Or even like half the day fruit, and then have something like a salad for dinner or something, something else. Or
Yeah.
yeah, you can mix it up, or I mix it up. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So my little story is the one that I'm going to tell you is when I was in my university. I was working at a bookstore, and I walked the same way every night. So this one night I was leaving, and it was dusk, and I saw out of the corner of my eye, there was a man across the street walking along with me. I was on one side, he was on the other. And I could see that he was, as I picked up my pace, he picked up his. And then when I glanced over, I saw a gun. So I started running, and then he started running. And this very, very tall man came up to me, and he said, "You're being chased, come with me." So he took my hand, and I didn't realize it then, but later I realized that every 2 or 3 steps, my foot would touch the ground. So I was practically airborne. So, and we go to this place, and he said, "I'm the only one with a key. You'll be safe in here." So he opened the door, and I went in, and he was gone. So I'm in this room, and it was dark. I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. It was pitch black. So I go around the room with my hands, along the wall, looking for a light switch or a door or a window, and there was nothing. So I sat on the floor near the door, and I waited about an hour, and then I decided I was going to open the door. So I opened the door, and I looked out, and there was the security guard station, probably about 25 feet away. So it was pretty close. So I thought, that's odd, that it's so close, but I ran to it, and and then I went home. But the next day I got my roommate, and I said, "Come on, we're going to go find that room." And there was no room. So I don't
So
know.
he brought you into like maybe a different, like a portal or something,
Yeah.
protective space.
Like
Yeah.
a time travel or something.
Yeah.
Someone
That's
told me I
awesome.
was cloaked, but I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like that too. I mean, you said like only one of every 3 steps you could feel yourself touching the
Yeah, and he
ground.
was the only one. It would be odd that he would be, someone with a key, and then leave, and when there's somebody with a gun out there, he's going to leave. And so everything didn't really, make sense. But I've had a lot of those, not quite that life-threatening, but a few others life-threatening. But so I just wanted to share that, and I really appreciate what you're doing. So
Well,
I have
thank
a
you for
question
coming
for
on
you.
and sharing. Go ahead.
Ask her, does he look like anybody that she would have known in her family that could have time traveled and helped her?
no,
Good
he was
question.
probably, I thought he had very dark skin, but his features were not of any, ethnicity that I could identify. So his features were very Caucasian, let's say. And he was at least 7 feet tall, maybe taller. So no, he didn't fit with
Like a
anyone.
Nephilim.
I don't know. I don't know who it was. I thought it was an angel.
Elohim,
Because I was
yeah.
basically flying with him. So
Pretty cool. That's a cool story. I like that.
yeah,
Definitely.
so I feel pretty safe in my life. So okay, I'm going to sign off.
All right. Thank you,
I'll still
Victoria.
but thank you.
My pleasure. Okay.
Yeah.
So once again, I'm going to unmute everyone. If someone wants to jump in, you're more than welcome to. If you have a story to tell about your experiences with spirit guides or guardian angels, don't all jump in at once.
What about entities that may not fall into that? I don't know.
No.
I had experience as a young
Let's keep
person.
Keep it focused on spirit guides, guardian angels. I see we have Mary here. You haven't spoken yet.
Yes, good evening.
Hi, Mary.
I missed the first half, unfortunately. How
Well, don't say anything that's redundant that we've already covered. Just kidding. I'm kidding. It doesn't matter.
Well,
Because
my
everyone's got
experience,
unique stories. You're going to have a unique story for us. I guarantee it.
I don't know if it's unique. It's similar to what everyone else has talked about.
It's personal.
Yes. I've never had, that I know of, had an NDE, but I've had some miraculous escapes from accidents, similar to what other people have said. And I do see my spirit guides in my dreams. I have not seen one, even though I've felt them. I've seen them in my dreams, and I can feel the energy, I guess is the way to say it. I don't really have any, other than my first experience that I talked about before. I'm pretty sure that one of the male person that appeared to me, I'm pretty sure it was an angel. And he appeared like you would see the Archangel Michael when you see a picture, the way you think of him in full body armor and the whole thing. So I think that's the only time that I may have seen an angel, but I know they're around me. I'm aware of that.
According to the woman that I interviewed last week, Susan Walter, she said that everyone has like one main angel that's with you. It's like the leader of all the other ones that are around you. And you always have at least 3 angels, she said, but there's one that's like, the group leader of all of them that's constantly there. And, I guess they're all there, but that's the leader of all of them. And it could be an archangel, it could be somebody, who knows? But yeah, there's,
Right.
And she said the more angels you have, the more work probably you have to do here. So it's not necessarily a good thing having a lot of angels.
I'm not sure how many I have, but I feel them, and I'm pretty sure that I was going through a really rough time. I'd broken up with my fiance many years ago, and I was just really sad, and I felt someone kiss me on the back of my neck and heard the words, I love you. Very
Aw.
clear, very clear. And I'm not sure who it was or what it was, but it was very comforting. So I get those kind of things often.
That was like a family member. That was
Possibly.
on the other side.
Could have been my dad, when my dad
Or a stalker. No, I'm just kidding.
I have an angel stuck.
Yeah.
My dad died when I was 15, and I'm pretty sure, he's around. He died much too young.
I think any father would want to come back and be an angel or a spirit guide for their daughter. Definitely. I've mentioned it a couple times already. In a heartbeat.
Right.
I would do that in
Right.
a heartbeat for my daughter.
Of course you would.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I did go to a psychic once, and that psychic, he was amazing. It was a big group thing, and he called on me, and he said that he saw 2 guys with me, and he explained one of them. And in that, it was one of the things I had a very vivid memory of my father doing. He loved that, on Thanksgiving morning. I grew up in Philadelphia, as you can tell from my accent. New Year's Day, they would always have the big mummers parade in Philly. And
Uh-oh. She froze up.
Mm-hmm.
The
She
big
did.
parade. We lost you, Mary.
Oh,
The suspense is killing me. While she's
at the parade.
cycling real quick, if anyone wants to jump in, the best way to do it is just raise your hand, and I'll see that right on the board in front of me, and that way I can bring you guys up instead of trying to jump on top of each other. That's probably the best way to do it. So if anyone wants to jump in right now, you can jump in, because we were just waiting on Mary to come back.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it, Gary.
So I have lots of crystals and stuff, but I was wondering if anybody has any experience knowing what crystals are best for working with your guides and your angels. Because I have Lemurian crystals, I've got quartz crystals, I've got rose quartz. I mean, you name it, I've probably got it. I just, I'd like to know if one of them works better for working with your guides and angels.
That's a great question. I have a friend of mine, Adrian Goff, who I really need to get on here to have a show with her, and I could ask her that. But if anyone wants to jump in on that question, feel free. I'm going to write that question down for her, though.
Yeah, I've had some experience with using crystals and connecting to my one of my main guides. And the one that she showed me was a clear quartz crystal that I got from John of God, which I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's a spiritual healer. But you don't have to use one from him. You can actually just use a regular clear quartz crystal, and that can help you to connect with your guides. What I was asked to do with the crystal is put it next to my nightstand and point it towards my crown chakra. Okay, so I did that and I went back to sleep. And then in the morning, as I was waking up, I opened my eyes and I could see a guide in my ceiling that was smiling down at me. So it can be very powerful to work with clear quartz.
Do you know if your crystal is terminated, double terminated? Like what, like, is it?
The one I have is it has a single termination on it. Yes, it's a one.
In the YouTube chat, one of our moderators, Terry, is saying that I just heard angel aura is a good crystal. I've never heard of angel aura. I'm not sure what that would be, but
it is absolutely gorgeous.
I'm going to look that up.
That is one beautiful crystal.
Angel aura. Yeah, I haven't heard of that one before.
Oh yeah, wow. Okay, I'm going to screen
Catherine,
share this just so you guys can check it out. That's angel aura. Isn't that gorgeous? It's iridescent. It's got like different colors, purple.
I have one of those.
Oh, wow.
Rainbow has like a rainbow
Yeah.
colors in it. Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, those are beautiful too.
I think they have
quartz crystal.
I think they have a metallic coating added to them that gives them the sheen, the color iridescence. Because
so how would you know? How would you know otherwise? If it's, I guess it would look more like that than that. If it's just basically a crystal with that metal sheen.
Yeah, like sometimes it's platinum, sometimes it's gold.
Okay.
And it's somehow coated. I don't know how it's done.
Crystal Rose in the chat is saying selenite and amethyst are also good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, those are good too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really need to contact this girl, Adrian Goff. I've had her speak at one of my conferences. She can speak for hours. She's so knowledgeable in this area. Yeah, definitely get her on here.
No, that's excellent. I really appreciate that because I've got quartz, or I've got clear quartz.
Mm-hmm.
The only one I don't have is the angel aura, but I've got selenite, I've got amethyst. So I mean, I did want to ask Catherine, did you set an intent when you set the crystal down, or did you just follow your guides?
Yeah, well, actually what happened was I was sleeping and my guide came to me in my dream, but she allowed me to kind of wake up during the dream. So I knew she was there, and she was holding the crystal in her hand like this. And then I knew telepathically what she wanted me to do with the crystal. So that's when I got up and I'm like, oh, she wants me to take the crystal and point it towards my crown chakra. And then that's what I did. I put it right next to my bed on my nightstand. I pointed it towards my crown and I fell back to sleep. And then in the morning, as I was just before wake and sleep, just when you're still in that like, semi-wake, semi-sleep state, I just opened my eyes and I could see the face of a guide that was smiling down at me. So yeah, it was pretty wild. But, I mean,
How
you
many
can-
of you charge your crystals in the moonlight?
Oh, I do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Me. Full moon coming soon.
Oh yeah, I bury them in my. I'll bury them in my house plants too. If I find that one of them's getting, if I'm using it a lot, I'll just dig a hole buried in the house plant for 24 hours, pull it out. It's like, oh, you beautiful now. Yeah, good to go.
Sunday's the full moon, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Ah, here we go. Time to charge them up.
So, do you? A quick question. I have a Lemurian that I carry all the time. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm actually thinking about using that one to leave on my nightstand, kind of like you were just saying, Catherine. Do you think that would probably be?
Yeah.
I feel like the Lemurian crystal would absolutely be the one to use, without
Okay.
a doubt.
Yeah, go with your intuition, go with your instincts, because they're right for you, But try it, and then put the intention out and talk to your spirit guides like before you go to sleep. Pray, pull in the light, and just have a conversation with them. They
Do you have a
always
connection to Lemuria or a pull or any kind of like familiarity that you feel for no reason?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do. The first time I ever heard the word Lemuria, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Why do I resonate with this? Like, I mean, as soon as I heard the word, I was like, oh, wait, I've been there, haven't I? I'm like, so I started asking, where is Lemuria? What is it? And then people can't tell you anything about it because they have no idea what Lemuria is. It's weird because like in the circle that, or not the circle, but like, and some of the people that I know and talk to now, when they're like, they'll bring up Lemuria or Lemurian crystals, but then they can't really say anything about it. They just know of Lemuria and that there are Lemurian crystals. So I'm like, well, okay, who does know about Lemuria and what is it? Or where
Probably
is it?
Greg.
Yeah, they have each crystal has its own energy and properties. They're unique. I just can't wait till we're able to really fully interact with crystals and maybe put one in our hand and use it for a light that'll light up like a half-mile area if we wanted it to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Have you ever walked outside and the street lights, ran by them and turned them off?
I've heard of people
Or-
doing that, and
Yeah, I do that.
yeah. I've had
I'm like,
other
"Well, turn them
electrical
off."
anomalies, not with streetlights though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
crazy
back.
because when light sees light, it turns off. So we would ride our bikes, and as we'd ride our bikes, we'd turn the lights.
Chemical process. That's what gives it that rainbow sheen.
So, Mary, you made it back. You were talking about the parade, and bam, you're gone.
I know. I have
you went-
no idea what happened.
Thought you
I
went to
thought it-
5D on us.
Yeah, I might have. It was just like gone instantaneously.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was talking about the psychic telling me about two guides, and the one was my dad, and so the parade, and then the other one I didn't think to ask. He said it was an Indian. The other man was an Indian, but I didn't know at the time. So this was in the early 90s. I didn't know at the time to ask Native American or Indian from
India, right?
yeah. And
India.
I had,
India.
yeah, from India. I do see one of my guides that could possibly be from India. I don't know because they're very different, the ones that I've seen in my dreams. So I don't know who works with me, if they work for a specific task, and I believe they do. But I don't have any great stories to tell.
It's okay.
Yeah. But I'm glad
Just
to be
sharing
here.
is good. Getting your voice and your story out there, and people are connecting and placing well, in this case, right now,
Yeah, the
a
video's
voice
on.
with the name, but you were on here earlier with
Right.
with your camera on, so.
Yeah, I don't know if my phone has gone screwy or what.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
thanks.
thanks
It's
for
good to
tuning
see
in.
everybody.
Thank you for sharing. I have to keep remembering to mute Elaine because she's snoring.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, let's unmute her. Hang on. Let's see.
Say hi, Elaine.
There we go. Unmuted.
It is late.
Yeah. Oh, she's not snoring now. Okay. Might have
Yeah,
woke
it's
her up.
8:03 my time. So
I'd be surprised, actually. You know, it seems like we always get these people coming when we have these nighttime chats that are in Europe, and they're like 5 hours behind. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning right now in England. And there's probably someone listening right now.
You're right.
Wouldn't surprise me. So, you know, we've been going on for about 2.5 hours. I think I'm going to wrap it up at that, unless anyone has a final thought they want to give. So, yeah, we're going to leave it off at that then.
Thank you.
Once again, I'm so grateful for everyone joining me here on Zoom as well as on YouTube, and anyone that's watching on the recorded version of this as well. Tonight, tomorrow, the next day, the next year, you're in the now. You're with us right now as you're listening. Whenever you're watching this, so it's an amazing process of being here in the now with us at all times. Just want to just encourage you guys, check out in5d.net for amazing tie-dye shirts with incredible energy to them. And as I've said before, check out the testimonials. You know, it's not just me. Everyone's feeling the energy from these. As well as tomorrow, I'm going to be having the first Wednesday of the month, the Insiders Club private chat on Zoom. So it's the same as this. Obviously, I'm not going to be here doing this, but I'll be on Zoom with our In5D Patreon family there. So you just go to Patreon In5D and you can find us there. We're going to be, tomorrow's topic is the untouchables. So we'll talk about that and whatever anyone wants to talk about on Patreon, but that's just between us. It's our little circle, and you can join us there as well. So thank you once again, everybody. I love you all. I'm sending you all infinite love and light. So namaste.
Namaste.
Until next time.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
a lot.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.